Hi, I'm Mary Aiken. I'm the CEO at the International Gynecologic Cancer Society. At the International Gynecologic Cancer Society, our mission is to enhance the care of people affected by gynecologic cancers worldwide through education, training, and public awareness. 5 years ago, IGCS established a patient advocacy network called the International Gynecologic Cancer Advocacy Network, or IGCAM, as we refer to it. We now have hundreds of patients, survivors, and caregivers and advocates participating in network activities, including dozens of patient advocate groups and organizations that are a part of this global network. So last year, when the IGCAN network declared that June would be known as Uterine Cancer Awareness Month, we had an overwhelming support from our network to carry the message throughout the globe. It's been incredibly moving and inspiring to work with so many advocates and groups who are doing great work for gynecologic cancer patients. Uterine Cancer Awareness Month, or as we call it, UKAM, is just in its infancy stages. The IGCS and our advocacy network established the Awareness Month just last year in 2023 to help address the startling lack of awareness about uterine cancer, also known as womb or endometrial cancer. This disease represents a growing public health concern, but until now, there's never been a global effort to raise awareness. We changed that. And as we celebrate our second year, we've been inspired by the spirit of the 2024 Summer Olympics in the air and are determined to work in solidarity around the globe to continue changing what it means to be diagnosed with uterine cancer and changing the future of this disease. Endometrial cancer is the 6th most common cancer in women worldwide and the most common gynecologic cancer among women in high and middle income countries. What's more, the number of cases and the number of deaths continue to increase. Incidence is expected to rise by over 60% by 2050. In most cases, people are diagnosed at an early stage when their disease can be treated. But for those who are not, the prognosis is much worse. Patients with advanced disease tend to have a 5-year survival rate of under 20%. Collectively, this paints a very clear picture to us for the great need. More information on risk factors and symptoms is essential. Supporting women to listen to their bodies and talk to their doctors is critical. We realized it was time to institute a collective effort to make uterine cancer a global priority, and UKAM was born. To mark our second year, I'm honored that several of our advocacy partners from across the world have joined us to raise a global voice. Hearing women talk about their own experiences really underlines just how important a global initiative like UKAM is. This month is an important opportunity to identify where we can collectively address challenges and work towards a brighter future. So from here, with Olympic ambition, I'm excited to carry the torch of resilience as we unite for Uterine Cancer Awareness Month.
It's important for men, women, the whole population to understand the different words that mean the same thing. So uterine, endometrial, womb, they're all the same, but it's important for us to understand it's a universal language, and UKAM doing this month awareness of it will definitely reach everyone in every country.
Endometrial cancer,
womb cancer,
uterine cancer.
Women in New Zealand are not terribly aware of endometrial cancer and not aware of the symptoms, and I think it's a huge problem that we don't know what we should be looking for and what we should be going to the doctor for.
Unfortunately, in America, it is they're not aware of uterine cancer.
And for some reason, there's a lot of women who have no idea what this disease is. A lot of the ones that are diagnosed, they had never heard of uterine cancer until the day of their diagnosis.
So people in Kenya are not very aware about endometrial cancer. It is one of those cancers that is not talked about much in our country, mainly because cancer is seen as a death sentence. It is not talked about much, and gynecological cancers are seen to be a taboo, and shyness kicks in.
In Brazil, most women are not aware of uterine cancer in general.
Having Uterine Cancer Awareness Month is with such an importance. We can save lives with such an easy message. Do you have an abnormal vaginal bleeding? Just go to your doctor.
The biggest problems that we have in the UK about raising awareness is that women don't actually understand their own bodies. And so, things like heavy periods, things like, painful sex are kind of swept under the carpet and not spoken about. So it starts with the basics of women not really wanting to talk about, how their bodies function and the difficulties that they're having.
I'm very excited about UKAM this year because it is it's the second time that we can reach out to women and talk about that openly, to know what to do and what to look for if they see a sign, and for the women that do have it to see how to demand the best therapies and the best treatment for them.
With uterine cancer on the rise, we need to do everything we can to prevent it, to help bring support to the women who have been diagnosed with it. So this month gives me the opportunity to go out and talk about it. So UKAM for me is the ability to make women more aware of their reproductive system and to make them aware to the point where I'm having abnormal bleeding. I should get this checked out.
UKAM is our first step in the way of raising awareness and saving lives. It's the first and only platform of us globally raising awareness and educating women all over the world with regards to endometrial cancer symptoms and risk factors.
I believe the greatest barriers is communication. Where do I begin? How do I start? Who do I talk to? The first thing I would recommend to a woman facing this diagnosis is find a GYN oncologist and talk to her or him. We have to start talking about it. We have to start talking about what happens below the waist. We have to start becoming more aware of the signs and symptoms of this disease. And then we have to get tested.
I think one of the reasons that women often overlook it is that there is a misunderstanding that pap smears detect all gynecological cancers, and they don't. And that's another message that really needs to be got out there, is that your pap smear is very necessary. You need to get that done, but it is not going to detect all gynecological cancers, and it's not going to detect uterine cancers. There is no screening for uterine cancer. There is no vaccination for it. These are things that you just need to be aware of what your body is doing and what is normal for you, and go to the doctor when something happens that is not normal for you.
The main challenges when women are waiting for the diagnosis is, number one, your general practitioner may have no knowledge of what your symptoms really mean. In my culture, we would probably use herbal remedies, or we downplay the real impact of heavy bleeding. And in some cases you can go to professionals and they say this is quite common in your community, and really dismiss the symptoms that you're experiencing.
I believe that endometrial cancer was overlooked until now. And the reason for that was that women are older usually, but now younger women are getting endometrial cancer. Also, there is they have found that it's not only one kind of endometrial cancer, there are subtypes, and they get different therapies. So so now we need to look more into that in order for the women to get the best therapy.
So some of the challenges that we have in the country when people actually discover they have endometrial cancer is funding is a big issue. They obviously have to go through surgery, they have to go through treatment, and they just don't have the funds to pay for this journey.
And then if you're in a spot where there's a lot of disparity issues, sometimes that person either doesn't get to the doctor or they don't even know how to. They just don't know. I believe if they knew more about this disease, they'd take it a little bit more serious, and that stigma would kind of drop to where they can actually go in and demand these different things based on the information that they know.
I think endometrial cancer needs to be a greater priority globally, so that awareness is raised. Just like, when you look at breast cancer, it is talked about all over the world. I wish we could get to that same level for cancers such as endometrial cancer.
The one thing that we must change to achieve an improvement of the future of people with endometrial cancer is just to talk about it, to break the shame and taboo, so women will not be ashamed of their disease. Endometrial cancer must be a global health priority globally, because it is so easy to have better outcomes simply with having an early detection and early diagnosis.
I think the first step is the government. When the government start to talk about the other women, I think thinking about the subject. I think that is important. We need more groups because normally gynecological cancer stay together with other types of cancer.
I think it should be a greater priority, because if this is the most diagnosed gynecologic cancer in the United States, then it definitely needs to be addressed in a major way. We address everything else. It's time to address uterine cancer. And that's not just here in America, but that's all over the world. There are uteruses everywhere. So it is a priority in every single country that we address this issue, that we take down that stigma. It's okay to talk about this.
Womb cancer definitely needs to be on the agenda globally, because society is made up of women. We are dying unnecessarily because we don't understand our own bodies, we don't have enough advice options, and we don't have enough early detection. Our voices are usually hidden and sometimes unheard. So globally, we need to be heard.
We need more and more information, more incentives. For example, in the breast, if you're feeling something in your breast, you're doing the exam, you go to doctor, you talk, oh, I think it's not good, or I feeling something not right or wrong. The doctor, okay, you're doing the exams, appropriate exams. Okay, you're going. But the the problem in the gynecological cancer is that the women don't have informations, and the doctors need the incentive doing the exams correctly.
What I think as a community that we can do is just what we're doing right now, talking about it, interviewing women that have gone through it, that have dealt with the disease.
UKAM is an opportunity to reach out, to speak up, to connect with women all around the world, to realize that we are not alone, to find out ways to overcome the side effects and problems we might face. It is a way of engagement to a bigger cause from all of us. And that's very, very important.
But endometrial cancer is rising, and we need to address that. It's just going to keep affecting more and more women, and we need to get on top of this. As a community, we need to have more opportunities to deliver our messages about prevention and awareness. We need to do it all year round, not just in Uterine Cancer Awareness Month.
And with that, I'll pass the torch of resilience over to our partners for more.
What gives me hope for the future of endometrial cancer is the presence of societies like IGCS that provide us with the right information and the tools so we, as endometrial cancer survivors and advocates, can speak up and make a presence in the world, telling to be aware, to trust their bodies, and telling them that they are not alone in this journey. I'm handing the torch now to my fellow advocate, Jackie, in the UK.
What gives me hope for the future of womb cancer is the work being put in to keep it on the agenda. I'm now going to pass the torch over to my fellow advocate in South America.
My hope is available information for the women. I pass it on to United States.
My hope for uterine cancer is awareness, more awareness. So now I will pass the torch over to Shakia, also in the US.
What gives me hope for the future of uterine cancer is to see Uterine Cancer Awareness Month. That gives me hope that we are going in the right direction. So I'm now passing the torch to Jane in New Zealand.
Something that gives me hope for the future of endometrial cancer is Uterine Cancer Awareness Month. Knowledge is power, and there's even more power when we all work together. I'm now going to pass the torch to Tanuja in Kenya.
Awareness is what gives me hope for endometrial cancer. I'm passing the torch to Bar in Israel.
The new era of innovation that we live in gives me hope for the future of endometrial cancer. I hand this torch over to women all over the world.
I'd like to extend my gratitude to all of our partners who have graciously shared their perspective and experiences on what it means to live with uterine cancer and how they are carrying the torch towards a brighter future. I'm truly inspired by the enthusiasm and exceptional work taking place everywhere. It's clear to me that we can only achieve real change by working together. Together, we can make sure that no woman is left alone. But we still have a long way to go. I am taking this opportunity to call on all of you to join our cause. Join our community and see how you can make a difference. Visit igcs.org/UKAM to learn more and help us spread the message across the globe.